So I want to tell you about a story of one of my most interesting talks that I delivered. I was invited to Aditya Birla Ultratech to speak about communication and more accurately to teach communication to a group of 80 people who were all managerial level candidates who had come from all across India, and we were conducting these communication workshops. I have this structure to my talks, or before I deliver the talks, that I try to understand who my audience is. So naturally I spoke to the HR and I asked, so what is the demographics of my audience? Who's going to be attending this? And I found out that my audience was going to be made up of about 70 to 80 men aged 35 and plus who had a minimum of 15 years of experience working in the industry. And I, as a speaker, I was supposed to teach them about communication. Now, I just turned 28. So I will not lie if I was telling you that I was a little nervous about the fact that I would be delivering a talk on communication to a group of individuals who probably pretty set in their ways, in the way that they dealt with things, in the way that they were communicating at work. So now this is where I started to get to work of how can I make my talks more interesting, more impactful, so that my audience listens to me. That always has to be your main agenda when you're trying to be a magnetic public speaker, or when you're trying to be an effective public speaker, an impactful communicator. So the main question you need to ask yourself is, how can I make this the most impactful? How can I make this as impactful as I can?
Hi, I'm Ipsita Das. You might know me as Hello Ipsita from Instagram. I'm a personal development coach, I'm a TEDx speaker, and a content creator. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're here, I'm extremely thankful for you. And here we talk about topics like mindset, communication, confidence, and we focus on building a very strong relationship with yourself and becoming the most magnetic version of yourself. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. I've been waiting to say this for such a long time. Thank you for being here, and welcome to the other side.
Now, this is what I have figured out through my years, or through my number of talks, or through my experiences. The only two things that you need to remember when trying to be an effective communicator is, number one, variation. Now, what do I mean by variation? If I do this, right, there's a surprise element to it. Whenever there's a surprise element to something, it naturally catches your attention. There could be times when somebody's just like rambling about certain things, like, for example, like I am right now. It's very easy to lose your attention, to lose your audience's attention. But as soon as you add some sort of variation, variation could also be in your facial expressions, variation could also be in your body language, variation could also be in the emotion that you're injecting in your voice while you're talking. Variation could be any of those things. Variation is a surprise element or variety. When you add variety to your speech, or when you add variety to what you're saying, it naturally is much better at keeping your audience's attention, right? So for example, right now, the way that I'm injecting variation is by using my hands, by switching my facial expressions from an expression that's a little bit serious to something that's a little bit more smiley, to something that's a little bit more happy. I'm also using my eyes in different ways. You will see that there are a lot of elements that are going on here. And that could also mean the way that you're dressed up for the event. That could also mean the way that you're dressed up while you're speaking. The different colors that you've used. Just this color, whatever I've worn, is not accidental. It's very intentional, right? Because different colors, there's color psychology to a lot of things. Different colors have different impact on your psychology, on your audience's psychology. So just remember variation. Variation could come in the form of, like I said, body language, or your tone, pitch, or your volume, the way, the highness or the lowness with which you're speaking. It could also be in the kind of words or language. For example, अगर मैं अभी अचानक से हिंदी में बात करने लग जाऊं, so naturally I'm catching your attention again. I'm bringing you back. If you were like drifting a little bit, I'm bringing you back to this moment. The way that I'm using my hands to catch your attention, that's variation. So you can get creative with variation in your own speech deliveries. You can apply all of this to meetings, public speaking events, You can apply this to probably toasts that you have to make at your sister's wedding. Any situation where you're speaking in a one to many setting, this is useful. The second thing that you need to remember to become an impactful communicator or a public speaker is conviction. Conviction means how much of what I'm saying do I believe? I could be saying the most brilliant things on earth, but if I don't say it with conviction, you are not going to pay attention to me. On the other hand, I could be saying the most mundane and just boring things in the world, but I could say it with so much conviction, so much belief that you will be very happy to just believe whatever I'm saying. And that's how communication works in most cases, because in any human interaction, it could be one to one, it could be one to many, we are constantly teaching people how to treat us. And what I mean by that is, if you and I are in a conversation, I don't treat you based on what I think about you. No. I treat you based on what I think you think about yourself. What that means is, when we are meeting a person for the first time, we don't know anything about them. We don't know what's up with their life. We don't know what they're like. We don't know what their childhood experiences have been like. We don't know what they feel about themselves, which means if I have to make an opinion about you, if I'm meeting you for the first time, I will turn to the person who knows you the best to give me an idea about you. And to me, the person that knows you the best is you. So naturally, I will look at you to see how you feel about yourself. And based on that, I'm going to make opinions about you. Based on that is what I'm going to decide that this is what I feel about you. And this is the same concept to be applied when you're speaking to a group of people. Whatever you say, make sure that you believe in what you're saying, because if you don't believe in the stuff that you're talking about, your audience won't. How convinced are you about what you're saying? And the last thing that I want to tell you, this is a bonus tip. Before you go onto the stage or before you enter that boardroom meeting, just understand and just know that it's completely okay to be nervous. It is human, it is normal, it is natural. Even the most seasoned speakers feel nervousness before getting on stage. Even the most seasoned speakers who've given hundreds and hundreds of talks experience nervousness and a little bit of stage anxiety before they get on stage or before they're about to speak to a group of people. It's a very normal human feeling to be a little intimidated when there's a group of people who are more in number than you, the single person. It's very natural for you to feel that. So the moment that you accept that this is normal, this is human, the moment that you humanize it, your anxiety drops significantly down. And this is something that you have to remember. At the same time, always remember to keep your focus on your audience. Do not go into the speech or do not go into the boardroom or do not go into the meeting room thinking about how can I look smart or how am I being perceived or what can I get out of this. Rather, switch your lens from this to this. What does my audience need from me? Because the moment that something else becomes bigger than I am, my anxiety goes down, because the more self-conscious you are, the more anxious you are. And the less self-conscious you are, the more you're focused on the other person or these people and what they need from you, the better you do your job. So these are my top 2 secrets and tips that I have accumulated over time through my own experiences on how to become a magnetic public speaker, a magnetic communicator. This has helped me and this has helped many of my clients to deliver so many impactful speeches and pitches and talks. Put down any questions you might have in the comments below and I'll see you in the next video.